Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're tackling something that literally affects hundreds of thousands of households right here in North Carolina. We are going to build a clear step-by-step playbook for managing your Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, benefits. Look, navigating government systems can feel completely overwhelming sometimes, right? But today, we're taking that bureaucratic stress entirely out of the equation. We're going to break down exactly what you need to know to keep your household's food budget secure.
Now imagine this. Could a simple $2 an hour raise at work actually end up costing you your monthly groceries? It sounds completely backwards, right? I mean, a raise should be a cause for celebration. But here's the surprising reality. A small, seemingly harmless income increase could accidentally trigger an overpayment penalty or even jeopardize your SNAP benefits entirely if it isn't reported properly. It's a really common misconception that once you're approved, you can just set it and forget it. But the truth is, maintaining accurate benefit distributions requires ongoing communication.
And we're not just talking about a niche issue here. Over 1.4 million North Carolinians rely on SNAP. That includes working parents, college students, veterans, and over 150,000 older adults. In fact, 4 out of 5 families participating in SNAP in North Carolina have either a child, a senior, or an adult with a disability living in the home. This program is an absolutely vital safety net keeping healthy food on the table. And that is exactly why mastering these reporting rules is so crucial for so many families. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our straightforward survival guide for today. North Carolina SNAP basics, changes you must report, why timely reporting matters, how to report changes, and mistakes, FAQs, and resources. Section 1, North Carolina SNAP basics, understanding the rules of the game. All right, to really grasp this, we've got to cut through some heavy bureaucratic jargon, specifically the term gross income. This is your total household income before any taxes, insurance, or other deductions are taken out of your paycheck. When you get a raise or you pick up some overtime, this gross income number is the one that goes up. And this is the exact number the government cares about the absolute most when determining if you still qualify for the program. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the vital difference between gross and net income, because this is a massive point of confusion for so many applicants. North Carolina uses 2 main income tests for most households. First, your gross income must be at or below 130% of the federal poverty level. If you pass that, they then look at your net income, which is what you actually have left after specific allowable deductions like housing or childcare, and that must be at or below 100% of the federal poverty level. Knowing this difference helps you understand exactly why that gross number at the top of your pay stub matters so much.
Section 2, changes you must report. When to throw the flag.
So here is some genuinely good news for us. North Carolina operates under a system called simplified reporting. This is a fantastic rule because it means you do not have to call up the Department of Social Services every single time you work 1 hour of overtime or if your paycheck fluctuates by $10. Simplified reporting is specifically designed to reduce the paperwork burden on you. You really only need to report specific major life changes between your scheduled renewal periods. So the crucial point is understanding what those specific major changes actually are. There are 3 main triggers that are absolutely legally mandatory to report. First, if your household's total gross income increases and crosses that 130% poverty level threshold for your family size. Second, if you're classified as an able-bodied adult without dependents or an ABA-WD and your work hours drop below 80 hours a month. And third, if a household member has substantial lottery or gambling winnings of more than $4,250. If literally any of these 3 things happen, you have to report it. Section 3, why timely reporting matters. Beating the clock. Now, if your income does cross that 130% limit, you're on the clock. You have a very strict deadline. You must report that change by the 10th day of the month following the month the change occurred. So, as an example, if you get a big promotion and your first higher paycheck arrives in October, you have until November 10th to report it to the DSS. And if that 10th day lands on a weekend or a holiday, your deadline simply shifts to the next business day. It is also super important to understand how reporting an income increase compares to reporting an income decrease. Making more money and crossing that 130% threshold, absolutely mandatory to report, even though it might decrease or end your benefits. But what if the opposite happens? What if you lose your job or your hours get cut? Well, while you technically aren't forced to report an income drop under simplified reporting until your regular renewal, it is highly, highly recommended that you do.
Why? Because reporting a loss of income could recalculate your case and actually increase your monthly grocery benefits, putting more money in your pocket when you need it most. But we also have to talk about what happens if you drop the ball here. If you just forget or you don't realize you crossed the threshold, the agency is probably going to issue an overpayment claim. This just means you'll have to pay back the extra funds you received but weren't eligible for. However, if the agency determines there was intentional fraud, meaning you purposely hid your income, the penalties are incredibly severe. You could face a 12 to 24-month disqualification or, no joke, even a permanent ban from the program.
Section 4. How to report changes. Executing the play. Let's move to how this actually works in practice and see how this builds into actionable steps. The absolute easiest and fastest method available is the online ePass system. If you set up an enhanced account on epass.nc.gov, it's incredibly user-friendly. Step 1. Just log into your dashboard. Step 2. Click the button that literally says, "Tell us if anything has changed." Step 3. Select Report Changes for FNS or SNAP. And Step 4. Simply update your income, job status, or household info and hit Submit. It guides you right through the whole shebang. But hey, ePass isn't the only way. You've got options, giving you the power to choose whatever communication style works best for you. ePass Online is definitely the fastest, but if you prefer speaking to a human just to ensure it's done right, you can call or visit your local county DSS office directly. Or if you're someone who likes a physical paper trail, you can fill out Form DSS-8550 and mail, fax, or drop it off in person. The key here is just getting it done by the 10th of the following month, whichever way you choose to do it. Section 5. Mistakes, FAQs, and resources. Post-game wrap-up. Let's quickly troubleshoot some of the most frequent roadblocks people run into. Number 1 is missing that strict 10-day deadline we talked about. Number 2 is confusing gross versus net income. Remember, always look at your gross pay. But the third mistake is probably the most frustrating, forgetting to submit verification documents. If you report a new job or a raise, the county needs proof. If you don't submit your new pay stubs or a letter from your employer, your whole case can completely stall out. Always provide the proof. And listen, if you feel stuck at any point, please know you do not have to figure this out all by yourself. There is excellent community support available. Use epass.nc.gov for your online portal. Reach out to your local DSS office. They are literally there to help you. And incredible organizations like the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina have dedicated benefits outreach teams. You can call them confidentially at 800-358-8189, and they will personally walk you through the eligibility and reporting process. So as we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Have you checked if your recent life changes affect your SNAP eligibility? Take what we learned today, report any required changes promptly to protect your benefits, or report a drop in income to see if you qualify for even more support. And please share this explainer with anyone in your life who might benefit from understanding this system just a little bit better. And this brilliantly illustrates why we have to include our standard disclaimer. This explainer provides general educational guidance based on current data and is always subject to change. It is not legal advice. Please always consult a qualified professional or your local SNAP and DSS office for personalized assistance regarding your specific case. Thank you so much for joining me to learn how to master this system. Stay informed, stay proactive, and take care of yourselves.